Hi friends, we're wrapping up our year of first grade together this week, and I just want you to think about all the fun times we had together. And I also want you to think about what you did when things were hard or challenging, and how you dug down deep and showed some grit, even when things were hard. I'm going to read you a story today. It's called Listening with My Heart. Esperanza's tummy fluttered as she practiced her lines on the porch. Today was the class play. Waiting for her mama to walk her to school, she paced back and forth when she spotted a heart-shaped rock. Esperanza picked it up and showed it to Mama as soon as she stepped outside. "I see you found a little treasure," said Mama. Esperanza rubbed its rough surface and felt a twinkle of joy. "Maybe it's a sign." "For what?" asked Mama. She thought about the class play later that afternoon, wondering what it would finally be like in the spotlight. "To put my heart into everything I do," she answered. At that moment, she heard scratching and a soft cry. Esperanza peeked under the stairs and spotted a kitty shaking and shivering. No Mama in sight. She scooped the kitten into her lap and cuddled her. "Oh, she's all alone, and I think she's hungry." Esperanza reached to her lunch bag and picked out a piece of chicken and offered it to the kitty, who gobbled it up. "Mama, I think the rock is a reminder to spread kindness and love. That's what we're going to do when we listen with our hearts." "I think you're on to something," said Mama. "Can we keep Cleopatra, please?" asked Esperanza, who'd already named the kitty. "Queens are always welcome at our house," said Mama. "If she's still here after school, we'll take her in." At school, Esperanza was more focused on the play than math or reading. Clutching her script during recess, she noticed Bayo sitting on the bench. He was new in school this week and didn't speak much English. She'd wonder if he felt lonely or scared. Esperanza found a soccer ball and kicked it right over to him. A smile spread across Bayo's face. He stood, popped the ball in the air, then bounced it between his knee and his head a few times. "Ooh, you're good at that," said Esperanza. They spent recess giggling and making up hand signals. Afterward, Esperanza borrowed Mrs. Owen's English, Vietnamese dictionary. She wrote "friend" in Vietnamese, drew a picture of Bayo and her, and then put it on his desk. Esperanza rubbed the rock in her pocket. Listening with her heart had made her feel peaceful inside. Finally, it was time for the performance. It was too late for Bayo to be in the play, but he stood at Mrs. Owen's side as the stagehand. Excitement bubbled as Esperanza waited for her cue. Esperanza walked on stage, tripped as she was about to say her first line, and splattered across the stage. When she got up, she forgot her lines, so Mrs. Owen whispered them to her from backstage. Heat rushed across her body as all eyes were glued on her. She wished she could just disappear. "I ruined the play," thought Esperanza, rushing off stage as soon as she'd finished her part. "I messed up in front of everyone." She tucked herself in behind some props so no one would see her. Esperanza noticed her body shaking and her face still burning. She took a deep breath and dug the rock out of her pocket. It was cracked and lopsided, just how she felt. Esperanza touched her hand to her heart and felt disappointment. Bayo found Esperanza a few minutes later and handed her a drawing with the word "friend" written above it. Esperanza nodded. She hadn't been treating herself like a friend. Esperanza realized this wasn't the first time she'd been unkind to herself. At the soccer game last weekend, she'd missed the ball and was swished by on her swished by her head, and they lost the game. "Nice work," a player from the other team yelled as the others laughed. Esperanza thought she'd let her teammates down, and she was the worst soccer player in the whole world. Thinking those thoughts had made her feel worse. At the curtain call, Esperanza reminded herself she hadn't ruined the play. She'd had an accident, and accidents happen to everyone. Listening with her heart wasn't just about giving kindness and love to others. It was about giving it to herself too. I can be a friend to myself, thought Esperanza. When Esperanza got home, she focused on her favorite things. She zipped down the hall on her bike, then she spent the afternoon painting at the kitchen table. She also got the big hug she needed from her mama and some cuddles from Cleopatra as well. So listening with your heart doesn't mean just treating others kind, but also thinking about how you're feeling and being kind to yourself too. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.